trucks to divert traffic until officers were on the scene. She says she approached the girl from behind and grabbed her in a split second when she wasn't looking.
To be honest, you really don't have that much time to think. The most important thing was her safety and my own.
32, come over here. Put your hands on the car.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, we're taking the 35 south exit.
Driver Christy Bundren is behind the wheel of her big rig, held hostage by a despondent gunman.
He pointed the gun to my head, you know, and he said, "Drive, bitch, or I'll kill you."
Officer Coy Clements stays on the truck's tail. While inside, Christy desperately tries to calm the agitated kidnapper.
This man was very upset. I said, I'll do whatever you tell me to do if you just don't hurt me.
The man makes no such agreement. Instead, he puts the gun to Christy's head and issues a dire warning.
He said he just had a statement to make. He told me that he was sorry, that he was going to have to take me with him to get his point across.
Sensing her fate, Christy's thoughts are drawn to her late father.
I told my daddy, I was like, I'm coming home. They started shooting at the rest of my tires that I had, and then they were shooting the engine of the truck. We stopped, and he grabbed me by the hair of the head and pulled me to the sleeper.
Trapped, Jones retreats into the back of the cab with his hostage. He doesn't anticipate getting out alive.
He told me, I'm going to have to take you with me. Then he told me to call my children and tell them goodbye. So I did. I said, please don't take me away from my kids. And he bent his head down, and he shook his head no.
In that moment of quiet, a voice comes to Christy.
I just heard, Daddy. He said, it's now or never.
Christy risks her life in a daring escape.
And I don't know what happened. I grabbed the gun, and I jumped out of the truck. I don't even remember opening the truck door. I heard now or never. I was gone.
Christy makes it safely to police. With Jones unarmed and alone, police launch tear gas into the semi. The choking fumes drive him from the truck. He falls to the ground in surrender. Officer Julie Welch, 5'5" and 130 pounds, tries to arrest a 6'11" giant.
I could not get over how tall he was. I literally remember thinking, what have I got myself into?
Officer Welch suspects the man is high on cocaine. She tries to talk him down.
You're shaking all over. What's going on? Leave your hands. Don't do it. Quit. Stop right now. Put that right there.
Time for handcuffs. But this guy has the upper hand and the element of surprise.
Because he's so tall, went so far forward, I lost my grip.
The determined cop gives it all she's got. But she's no match for the towering suspect. Fortunately, a brave citizen comes to the rescue.
He had been in the Wendy's drive-thru, which is right next to where we pulled over. He asked me if I needed help, and I told him absolutely.
With his help, Officer Welch finally cuts the man down to size. He goes to jail.
I don't even want to think about what would have happened if he had gotten a hold of my weapon.
Officer Welch may be small in stature, But when she faced off with a giant, she came up big. Detroit, Michigan. It's an emotional day in court for Officer Raquel Avery as she attends the sentencing of the man who shot her. A year ago, Lauren Key wounded Raquel during a hostage situation, forcing her to retire. Today, she and her family get to confront her attacker.
Lauren Keys has altered my life forever. He's altered my career. Having to see him, it was like staring the devil in the face. It was like seeing your worst nightmare all over again.
But when Raquel's mother speaks, Key decides he's heard enough.
You are a sick person. You are sick to think that you have a right to run around with a gun.
You know what?
Shooting.
You gonna say what you want to say? I'm gonna say
All of a sudden, we saw him get up, and I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Officers fight to control the homicidal suspect, fearing he could grab one of their guns. Raquel can't help but take the confrontation personally.
I was in a rage. I was going to kill him myself if I had the opportunity.
To the relief of court officer Martin Donaldson, the convict is finally cuffed and escorted from the room. When he's brought back later, he remains defiant.
I don't do nothing. Don't take me out of here. Body bag, whatever. Get me out of here.
The judge complies, but not before sentencing Key to more than 100 years in prison. For Raquel, this violent snap is a reminder of how lucky she was to have lived through her first encounter with this deadly villain.
I do feel blessed to be alive, and you are never guaranteed the next day, so you better make the most of the day that you do have.